Somebody might say, wow, twice in one day? Unbelievable. Wow, Pastor Johnson. Yeah, I'm making some errands today. So, when I'm always walking, things come upon my mind. Although walking, doing things, I'm always trying to meditate on thoughts and gospels, on things to bring to you all. So, I titled this, Don't Let Anything Shake the Gospel. Don't let anything shake the gospel. The scripture says, Be ye steadfast and unmovable, always abounding in the word of truth. Be ye steadfast and unmovable, always abounding in the word of truth. What is the gospel? If I say, don't let anything shake you from the gospel, the gospel is the kingdom of heaven is at hand. That's the gospel. When you read the scriptures, everything and all of the prophets all speak about a kingdom that is going to come upon this earth that will be reigned by the righteous and will be ruled by the Messiah. All of the prophets say that. You can actually close the book of the testimonies, which I don't encourage you to, but you can close the book of the testimonies and get the gospel just from reading. I'm fixing my phone here. Just from reading the gospel, reading the prophets. But the purpose of the testimonies is to confirm that which they have testified, or what the laws have been written to testify to, have been confirmed. So, for instance, the prophets prophesied that the Messiah will come. He would come riding on the ass of a colt. We find that in the prophecy when Jacob was blessing his sons. He told Judah the scepter should not depart from Judah. David, the prophet, gave certain clues as to when this Messiah was going to come. Now let's talk about don't let anybody or anything shake you from the gospel. A lot of times we get into studying a lot of different things, a lot of different subjects, and a lot of different ideologies, but none of them should ever shake us from the gospel. I'm a firm believer that once you understand the gospel, some other things you just don't even deal with. For instance, people still debating whether or not fallen angels slept with the daughters of men. That's a very easy way to determine that from the scriptures. I'm not going to talk about that now, but people debate about stuff like that. And they get away from the gospel. And so therefore, when you study these side issues and have these side debates on things like, did fallen angels sleep with the daughters of men, you start to look at other books to substantiate your ideology, because maybe the scriptures is not giving you the answer that you want as clearly as you want. Although it's probably clear, it's very clear when I've studied the issue just on that subject. But there's a lot of books out there that were written and the authors are unknown and they purport to be certain people in the book. And if you read the preface of those books, you'll find where the origin of that particular book came from. no matter what it is. The book of Jasper has a preface. Various so-called books that people say are lost. Read the preface. They tell you where they came, how they came about, um, when did they come into play, and you would be surprised what the preface says. You may not be so inclined to read it or to consider it as a credible source. So what I'm saying is stick with the gospel of the kingdom of heaven is at hand. That's the most important thing that we should be learning today. Now, I'm a firm believer that we are the people of the book. I can prove it academically, biblically, and however you want to do it. But I also know, based upon that same book, that the same law that's for Israel is the same law for the strangers and anybody that wants to become spiritual Israel. Because we all must become Israel, whether heirs or joint heirs. That's what we must become. Knowing that there are certain things that I consider credible in the book that I don't need to go outside of the book. And so when you get outside of the gospel, the message that our forefathers wrote, the prophets wrote, speaking about the coming of a kingdom that will be set up right here on earth, that is our main focus. Anything else that you do that gets you outside of that focus is what I call side issues. And side issues keep you from being focused. And you'll find yourself getting into debates such as, here's another popular one, that the giants that the Bible speak about, like Goliath. Yesterday, we talked about David killing Goliath. There are people out there to teach that giants are the children of fallen angels and the daughters of men. That's what they teach. There's no scripture for that. So they go to outside books that try to create that. And then when you read the authorship of the book, where the book came from, where the origin of the book came from, you'll be totally surprised. Totally surprised that whom you think might be writing the book may have not actually wrote the book, may have their name on it. There's a book out there called The Gospel According to Barnabas. Barnabas, as you know, was there with Peter and Paul. I don't know the authenticity of that book, but if you get books like that, read the preface. Find out where they came from. Find out what the origin of them are. And read them. If you read them, I don't choose to read them because I have everything I need in the scriptures that we have today. But what I'm saying is, whatever you do, nothing shall shake the gospel. Nothing should get you off par from the gospel, the teaching of the gospel, the goal of getting into the kingdom of the Most High. If we get too caught up in too many things that are baseless, pointless, then we miss the mark. The children of Israel were coming out of Egypt. They were forced to go into the wilderness. But one of the things that got them lost in the wilderness was that they got unfocused on what their primary responsibility was. And because of that, a lot of them did not make it through the wilderness. Moses was just gone a month or so and they wanted to build a golden calf. After coming through dry land through the Red Sea, watching all the plagues that tormented Egypt and not them, and they want to question the time that Moses went away. One would seem to think that when you go up and you say you're going to go up and commune with the Most High, it's going to take a while, especially an awesome God that was as powerful and mighty to open up the Red Sea, send in the death angel that would kill all the firstborn except where he saw the blood, cause all the plagues upon Egypt, but not on the children of Israel that was in Goshen. That's an amazing God. That's an amazing God. And if Moses, the prophet, says, I need to go up and talk to him, wait here till I get back, 30 days. 30 days. The Israelites started to question the authenticity of their experience. And they said, come, let us make a calf and worship him for bringing us out of Egypt. I wonder if we have changed. I wonder if our DNA has changed. I wonder if our mentality has changed. I hope that it has. I leave this thought with you. Don't let anything shake the gospel. We'll talk soon.